welcome to this week's book club episode for Star Wars Dark Disciple by Christie Golden. We're taking a look at this book a couple of chapters at a time, breaking down the themes and happenings, and getting into the nitty-gritty. Today we're talking about chapters 10, 11, and 12, which is basically the rescue of the Pike children from the planet of Mustafar, or the Pike family from the planet of Mustafar. So they fly there. Ventress is a little bit cranky, but appreciates Voss's chipperness, is somebody who can kind of always bring her up. Even if she won't admit it when she's feeling the moodiness, even if she pretends like she doesn't like the chipperness. She thinks back to the Pluma Sodi incident, which what I talked about before. They go to catch a bounty. It turns out it's a woman on the run from an arranged marriage, and ultimately she does not deliver this bounty. And the reason why she thinks of that is she tells Voss that she always delivers a bounty no matter what, and she's trying to show that she doesn't have, like, soft emotions, but really she does. And so it's just kind of contrasting what she's showing with what she's actually done in the past, that she has been sentimental in the past. So she's still telling him some lies. Of course, he's still telling her some lies. So they're trying to trust each other while also not opening up too much. On Mustafar, they rent some fleas, which is just always an odd concept. There's these giant fleas you can ride. I imagine a flea circus on Mustafar would probably be actually fairly interesting. When they ride the fleas, though, Voss is able to, like, naturally ride on the flea, and Ventress forces hers with, like, threats of violence, which, you know, you still see, like, Ventress might not be, mwahaha, I'm a Sith, I'm gonna take over the galaxy, but she's still not necessarily the greatest person, because she's just threatening a flea. In the bar, everyone is worn down, so we're being shown how much the Black Sun is, like, pushing the people of Mustafar to show that they're, you know, they're not the good, benevolent rulers of this planet, as it were. They're able to find a guard, and Ventress does the full gambit, or full-on gambit, as it would be called. Basically, she flirts a little bit and lures him away to a bathroom, and then Voss shows up and they fight him and knock him out. But Ventress says she has to play it this way because the Black Sun guy, the Falleen, as the species is called, would be using his pheromones, and so he would expect her to behave that way. For those who don't know, Falleen as a species have a way to, like, emit hormones, basically, that can cause people to do whatever it is they want, going all the way back to the character of Prince Zizor, or Zijor, however you want to pronounce it, from the Shadows of the Empire book, comic, game. They are able to coax information out of the guard. Voss says not to kill him because they don't want to get the Black Sun more mad at them than the Black Sun's already going to be. Of course, Voss doesn't want to kill him because Voss doesn't want to kill, but he doesn't so much say that. So they leave him alive, but in a compromising position in one of the stalls. What this shows, too, is that they are a good team working together now. They kind of know their roles. They know how to, like, tell what the other person is doing, what the other person's up to. And they're just kind of in a flow. So after seeing, like, more of the bonding montage, now we're really seeing them together and actually getting to see how they work together. Chapter 11, they arrive at the tower and they scan for a place to enter. Voss fires up a cable so he can ascend the tower and assumes that Ventress will just ride up with him, and instead Ventress shoots her own from her own bow and goes up. And Voss is a little bit wounded by this. He thinks that it means Ventress doesn't trust him, that she's concerned that, you know, if they rode up together on the same cable, that he would try to make a move or something, you know, so it's a lack of trust. On the one hand, I totally understand in that perspective, but on the other hand, if she also has the ability to do it, why would she not? You know, even if they are partners, there's no reason why they would ascend on the same cable together unless they had to. So I think on the one hand it does show that Ventress wants to keep her distance, but I think on the other hand it shows that Voss is very comfortable with a lack of distance. So I think there's kind of a two-sided bit to that. But either way, we're starting to see them, at least from Voss's perspective this time, but really as they interact, we're starting to see them kind of think and overthink about every interaction more. They get in and they find the kids have been separated from their mom. They find out that the guard that they got information from kind of duped them, that he, yes, told them where the kids were, but not where everybody was. And he ends up waking up much sooner than they thought he would, and so he comes in and it becomes like a big fight here in the tower. They are able to rescue the kids, however. They get the kids on their back, jump out of the tower. They're going to start by getting the kids out and then come back for the mom. They're doing daring acrobatics as they escape, but as they're running, Voss gets shot, and drops, and he ends up being fine, but one of the kids almost falls into one of the lava flows on Mustafar, and he ends up using the Force to save the kid and bring him back, which, as one would suspect, is going to create some problems here in later on down the road. They get back to the ship. Ventress is tending to Voss. He subtly signals to her to like downplay how badly he's been shot. Like he's trying to be like, I'm fine, and she's like, don't be a dude about it. And he's like, no, I'm not being a dude about it. There's kids over there. Shut up. And so then Ventress has to like downplay it so she doesn't scare the kids. And then they have the classic guy's injured, she has to tend to his wounds kind of scene. He comments and marvels at how deadly her hands can be, but how caring they are when tending to his wounds. And this leads to them having a moment. As she walks away, he reaches out and holds her hand. They have a bit of a connection, and I think this is really the first point where the two characters, I think, have a moment that neither of them like outright denies. As Ventress walks off, Voss goes over and reads the kid's locket. And from the locket, through his telemetry, he's able to determine what happened to the mother. And so he goes to Ventress and is like, hey, I know what's up. The kids told me, they totally suddenly remembered, and they just, trust me. Ventress says that the kids trust him because he's their peer, because he behaves like a kid. I thought that was funny. Voss is worried about the kids, but Ventress has a plan to keep the kids safe while they run off to the castle again, which takes us to chapter 12. Of course, Ventress's plan is to lock kids in the chair so that they can't get around and poke around on things in the ship. Voss is a bit sympathetic about this, but ultimately is like, well, it's her ship, you're gonna get locked up in these chairs. As they leave, Voss says to Ventress to be careful, and that always makes me laugh because there's a song from Barney, from a video that my little brother used to watch all the time, and there's this song
saying be careful,
saying be careful
means I love you.
I love you.
That's right.
Anytime I hear somebody say be careful now in a story, whatever, that song plays in my head. So you might think it's cute right now, but like, this has plagued me for decades. Now we cut over to the Black Sun's perspective, the character of Zayton, however you pronounce it. But he's mad. He's mad because nothing is going according to plan. He means to execute the wife of the Pike leader, but Ventress pops in, playing an envoy from the Pikes. Of course, Zayton thinks that he has found her out, that he knows that she's not really an envoy, and she's who just came in and rescued the kids, but actually they have a one-up on him because Voss is out there in the shadows always lurking, and he pops in, and they get in a big old fight, as these two often do. As they fight, Zayton and Ventress square off, and Ventress uses the Force to like levitate and choke and throw him, and she's really just using the Force as like a declaration of power. Like, you come after the Pikes have, like, literally powerful friends, and you don't want to mess with them. They get away with the Black Sun whirling about what just happened, and they fly back. The kids and the mom reunite. Voss tries to chat up Ventress like normal. He's not necessarily falling back on that moment between them, but he's just trying to say, like, hey, it's after the fight, we're gonna banter a little bit and have our fun. But Ventress knows what she felt when Voss held her hand, and she doesn't want to feel it. She doesn't want to experience it. She doesn't want to go through this. She's aware of what she's feeling and what it means in a way that I think Voss might be aware of, but not fully aware of. She knows that she's not just annoyed with his bravado or what have you. Like, her feelings are shifting, and she does not want to let it happen. So she gives him the cold shoulder. When they get there, Voss definitely knows something's up, so he lets Ventress go and handle the things while he takes care of the ship. She can tell something's bugging him also, but she doesn't push because she wouldn't want to be pushed. She resolves the mission and returns. The kids really miss Voss. They really connected with Voss. And they're making a point of showing you like just how much this family cares. When she returns, she realizes that he's acting like himself, as in he's behaving how he ought to behave, but she can tell that he is just going through the motions to try to look like nothing is wrong. She means to give him space, but as they fly away, the Black Sun attacks, and this is a really intense moment because the Black Sun with its warship shows up to the Pikes and is going to fight the Pikes. So basically the Pikes didn't take the deal, so the Black Sun took the family, the Pikes took the family back, and now the Black Sun's just going to come and wreck the Pikes. And they know that some really bad stuff's going to happen, and that this family that they just spent all this time rescuing and getting to know probably going to be murdered. And they get to take that in all of their feelings and add it all in. This was a lot darker than I remember the book going, because Clone Wars definitely has some dark moments. Like, there are some intense deaths and happenings and themes in those shows, but just like the line of saying that the leader Pike will likely have to watch like his family murdered in front of him is a level of intensity that might have been implied during Clone Wars, but they don't show too much. I won't say that they never show something like that, but it's reserved. So that's something where I wonder if that was in the script and the show intended to go that dark and intense, or if that's something that could have gotten added because it was a novel. But the mission definitely ends on a sad note, because all Voss and Ventress can do is flee. You know, it's not their fight, there's nothing they can really do. But now Voss is spiraling, right? His Jedi conscience is just not letting him sit with this. He knows the family that they just rescued and gave hope to will be killed. So, like, not only are they gonna die, but, like, they gave them hope that they wouldn't, and then this is still gonna happen. Voss is broken. He takes Ventress on a walk and says that, you know, they're not really a team because he's been lying to her. And ends with saying that he's a Jedi. And that's the last bit here in this chapter. Overall, I really liked how these 3 chapters flowed together. I mean, it's effectively like this could have almost been an episode in of itself. It might have included some of like the bonding montage at the beginning, but it's really this is what we did on Mustafar, this is where we went, this is what we got to do, this is how it ended, and then just kind of like the dun 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 moment at the end. I like now that we're moving into the point where they're gonna kind of talk to each other, be a little bit more upfront, and they're really gonna get to know each other, because, I mean, Voss is ultimately a good dude. He ultimately wants to do the right thing. He ultimately doesn't want to lie to Ventress. And at some level, I get why, but, like, you know, maybe Ventress would never have heard him out to begin with if she knew he was a Jedi. But, you know, Ventress probably would want to go after Dooku anyway. So, you know, it's this awkward thing of she probably would do what they wanted if she trusted them, but she's never going to trust them unless they lie to her. But the Jedi got to lie to her to get her to trust them. And so now we're going to kind of walk into this. Now, I've kind of left you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger, but we're moving into the weekend of Christmas, and I would really, coming off of, if you're watching these videos as they come out, we just finished the 40 days of FactPop for Empire Strikes Back, and I'm a little burned out, and it's the holiday season. So I'm actually going to take next weekend off from doing one of these. If that drives you nuts, I would just encourage you to read ahead. And don't wait. In 2 weeks, coming into the first Monday in January of 2021, we'll pick it up and we'll just keep it short and sweet, and we'll read chapters 13 and 14, just because that will be another holiday weekend with New Year's weekend in of itself. So I know that's not a lot of reading. Like I said, if you want, go ahead, do what you gotta do with the book, but I need a little bit of a break. So that's also why this video is going to be probably a little bit shorter, too. Just because of my book stamina is a little worn down at the moment. But there'll be plenty to discuss in the new year. Please leave me a comment letting me know what you think of this book so far. If you're not already, follow us on the socials. And I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks and in the new year.